case. The breeze, if anything, is blowing across to this side of the field. Let's take a check on the teams. We'll start with Wexford. One change, as you've heard, they've had to make from the team that started out on Sunday last, and you can see that they've had to revamp their fortune somewhat. And into the half-back line comes Darren Stamp, number 10 there, and he will be picking up Mark O'Leary, who's been causing problems to Wexford. In midfield, it's Fenlon and now Larry O'Gorman. And then up on the forwards, the changes will show this man here, Gary Laffin, coming in at top of the left, and Mitch Jordan going out to right half forward. I wouldn't be at all surprised if at some stage Brother Laffin goes in to the full forward position. He's a big man. A link with the team that won the All-Ireland back in 1996. And what of Tipperary? Well, one injury worry for Tip going into today's replay that concerns the left half back. As you heard, Paul Kelly is playing, but there is a concern about him. Big questions may be asked once again of the Tipperary full back line led by Philip Marr, while Eddie Enright is expected to line up in midfield alongside Tommy Dunn, his captain. Mark O'Leary, I've been mentioning, he's been in outstanding form, while John Carroll is again set to play on the 40, ably supporting the inside line, featuring the towering Declan Ryan. There, number 7 is Paul Kelly, very talented young player, brother of Owen. They come from the Mullinahone club, and that
this game. I walked the pitch before. It's quite wet and very soggy out there. So in actual fact, the ball will be slipping inside, and those that will jab lifting out today, Gerard, won't be roll lifting as such. Kind of traditionally to suit Wexford, they are physically strong, whereas Tip would have that bit more skill. In the first half, Gerard, Wexford, whatever breeze in it, Wexford seem to have it. The rain seems to be slanted down that way, and whoever gets a good start here will have a big bearing on the game.
I've noticed that Dara Ryan, who is the captain of Wexford, and their Declan Ruth and Liam Dunn would seem to have switched position straight away for Wexford. It's one of those awful afternoons where the match programmes are already sopping wet, and where any little few notes we've written on them, well, the ink has run straight away. Pat Horan, the hotelier from County Offaly, he takes charge this afternoon. Pat O'Connor handled last Sunday's match. Pat will be here tomorrow for the second of the semi-finals in the Guinness Hurling Championship. Just waiting for the band to leave. Checks on the watches. Action underway. So the second time of asking, who can prevail over 70 minutes? Here comes Declan Ryan. Thought about the shot on his left-hand side. Passing it instead across towards Mark O'Leary. Good block down there by Darren Stamp. It's number 10 against number 10. Opportunities presenting here. John Carroll. Batted out by David O'Connor. Out to his captain, Dara Ryan. Hooked well in there by Owen Kelly. And the trip in the end there, the man who was tripped is Declan Ruth. Free out to Wexford. Declan Ruth, who plays for the Rapparees club and is known affectionately to his colleagues as Skippy. Everybody up on Hill 16 and around the exposed terraces of Croke Park, absolutely drenched. Just waiting for a replacement sliotar to be handed down there towards goalkeeper Damien Fitzhenry. Plays for Duffy Rovers, of course, his family in a long, proud tradition of playing for the model county. Here's the free. Lambert is in around full forward, I can tell you. Gary Laffin has started at top of the left. Paul Codd went across there. He made that marvellous block down at the very end of last week's match. Here comes Mitch Jordan. And that has gone left. It's a day when a lot of mistakes could be made.
Yeah, Gerald, like, you know, defences will make mistakes, and if the forwards can capitalise on that, you're going to have lads slipping and sliding. The conditions are very, very bad out there for summer hurling as such. It was a good chance for Wexford to score. He had plenty of time, but his left hand shot went just wide.
Brendan Cummins, today playing in his 22nd championship match. That's Paul Kelly. A couple of players slipping on the ground over there. Darren Stamp going back. He started well. That's a block, however. Kelly playing it inside here towards Lark Corbett. Won instead by David O'Connor. Building up a wonderful reputation this year, David O'Connor. Full back on the under-21 team, already through to the All-Ireland semi-final at that grade. Tommy Dunn beaten by Mitch Jordan. Coming back here to support is Tomas Costello. Hands and knees situation. Number 11 there is Larry Murphy. Larry was telling me at the end of last week's game, he said, you realise where I should be on the coming Saturday, that is today. And he said, I should be at a wedding. The plans had to be changed. In dangerously. Dropped down there. Philip Marr getting it outside to Paul Kelly. Down towards John Carroll, contesting there with Liam Dunn. Interesting that they've switched Dunn back onto Carroll again. They had made that change during the second half in last week's drawn encounter. We really should play this championship in the summer, Cyril.
Yeah, Joe, it's a pity. It's belting rain down here. Whatever breeze it is, Wexford, it's flowing Wexford's way. They want to get a few points in the scoreboard, Joe, because it's getting stronger.
Darren Stamp with that one in. This is Eddie Enright, and Eddie has been fouled by Adrian Fenlon. Free to Tipperary. Well, it gives Tommy Dunn a chance of a long-range free here. Very close to the sideline, as you can see, and over 65 metres out. Plays for the Greyhounds, as they're known, Toomey Barra. Lashed right in there towards Declan Ryan, dropped down. Here's O'Connor, providing plenty of cover there for the other members of the full back line. Rory McCarthy, Paul Kelly slipping around the place. That won't do his hamstring any great deal of good. Pat Carroll, the linesman, or Pat Ahern rather, the linesman here from Carlow, giving the sideline ball to Wexford. Well, Adrian Fenlon will try and drop this one in. It's too far out from goal realistically to be a scoring opportunity for him.
Yeah, Joe, anything that drops in around the house today will be very dangerous because the ball is skid anywhere. Backs can get onto it, but if forwards get onto it, they probably will score.
Well, that's beautifully done. Lambert was expecting it to go in a little bit more. Paul Codd here, but the referee has whistled. It's stopped by the goalkeeper. It wouldn't have counted. Cheers from the Wexford fans, but it's a free for Tipperary. Referee spotting a foul, and he wasn't too far away from the action. So still no score in this match. And there was a push there you could quite clearly see by Nicky Lambert. Brendan Cummins wasn't to know that the referee had whistled up. He made the save in any case. It's a huge one. Carroll is coming for it, so too Declan Ryan, and again it's David O'Connor. Well brought down by Lark Corbett. Second time away by the corner back towards Rory McCarthy, and handed there in the end by Paul Kelly. Line ball to Wexford. Plenty of honest endeavours so far, but these fans, well, they'll need a fresh set of clothing once they leave Croke Park. Again, it's Adrian Fenlon. Another beauty. Inside towards Paul Codd, runs away from him. Larry Murphy trying to take it up. One back by David Kennedy, the centre half back for Tipperary. Coming towards it here, midfielder Larry O'Gorman. Huge one in towards Lambert once again. Game just needing a point or two now to settle it down. Philip Marr coming way out from goal. Good clearance towards Carroll. Batted down there, however, by Liam Dunn. Won back by Wexford again. Again, it's David Kennedy, cool and calm. Out as far as Paul Kelly, has support. It's Eddie Enright here. Towards Lar Corbett. And again, it's O'Connor who wins it. He started really, really well. The man known as Doc, David O'Connor. Just his third championship match. So just over 7 minutes played. Tip looking to set up a scoring opportunity here, perhaps. Paul Kelly. Now Corbett scampering after it. O'Connor is the stronger of the two players. Physically imposing. Darragh Ryan. And that's Rory McCarthy, one hand, almost tennis-like, belting it forward, but no great accuracy on it. They were expecting a crowd today of around 35,000. The face of Paul Kelly. Nicely taken here by John Carroll, trying to get the first score. At the first goal, of course, last weekend. It's Henry to Darren Stamp. Good play. And that is going to be a free to Tipperary. Foul there by Mitch Jordan. Referee's going to have a word with him as well. Let's just see, is there a card coming out? It would appear so. So that's the first booking of this match. An illustrious name, Michael Jordan, famous basketball player, known here in the hurling context as Mitch. Oh, it's another great catch. David O'Connor again. This is in towards Declan Ruth this time. Runs on, however, Brian O'Mara feeding it inside here to John Carroll. Going by, kicking it, and he scores! It's a goal for Tipperary. 9 minutes are gone.
This time, Gervin, John Carroll, very much the same as the last day. Cut down the middle, all around him, but this time when he kicked, David Fitzhenry couldn't block it.
There was a gap in the centre, and it was exploited brilliantly. O'Mara hand passing it on for Carroll. The last week, the goalkeeper saved. Today, nothing he could do. And it's still Tipperary. Owen Kelly trying to add another score on here. Great start, opportunities, another goal. Blocked by Fitzhenry, he's on the ground. Comes up to Damien Ruth. And the referee has blown his whistle for a chop. And it's going to be a free in for Tipperary. This is what happened here again. Let's see if we can see a chop there. That was the goal. But it was immediately after that. John Carroll receiving a little bit of attention from the referee, and the referee indicating with a T there, like they do in basketball in a timeout. This is a temporary substitution, as they're now calling it. It's for the blood substitution rule. First time that's been used, that particular signal indicated by the referee to the fourth official and to the bench. Jerry O'Sullivan is the team doctor. Well, John Carroll has certainly made a fist of centre forward. A goal in each of these two games up there on the 40. It's going to be Owen Kelly on the 20-metre line. And he's very happy just to tap it over the bar. His first chance of a score, his first point, and Tipperary lead by a goal and a point to no score. Well, there was a lot of pressure coming onto that Wexford full back line. Eventually a crack appeared. Gary Lappin can't take this one. Instead it is Paul Kelly once again. Nice hurling. Lar Corbett kept it in play, kept the ball moving. Good understanding here. Carroll got the touch. On comes O'Mara. Well, he should have whipped it over the bar. He's got to be forgiven, I think, by the fans on such an awful day. Damien Fitzhenry today playing in his 27th ever championship match. Paul Codd touches that one forward, intended over there for Mitch Jordan, and the linesman indicating that it's going to be a Wexford sideline cut. Well, the rain looks like it's in for the evening, and you wonder what kind of condition the pitch is going to be in with another major match tomorrow.
Jared, the cogs of a big burn at this stage because they're going to slip and slide. Probably them all change before the game. Adrian Finnan will actually go for a score from this, Jared, if he's able at all.
He catches it nicely in there on top of Philip Marr. Marr, the full-back, getting away from the attempted side-to-side charges. Declan Ruth putting his hand up. It's Tipperary who take it forward, however. Opportunities for Mark O'Leary. He gets a second chance and he fires it wide. There, he scored 4 points last week in the game. That's a second wide now for Tipperary. It's pretty obvious that the Wexford selectors were worried about the pace and the incisiveness of Mark O'Leary, because they've been varying the players down to mark him. It's Darren Stamp now. Here comes Paul Ormond, running into trouble. Paul Codd for Wexford. They need a score. He's bundled over. It's going to be a free in. Paul Codd will take it himself. And a chance to get Wexford's first score with over 13 minutes played. Here he was. It wasn't a fair side-to-side charge, they're calling it. Joe Lennon, my old friend, reminding me that since 1975 the term shoulder has actually been taken out of terminology.
That's true, Ger, out of the rule book as such, but like that is definitely a free. In actual fact, Tipperary should have that ball clear, but they're depossessed going out, so now Wexford should score here.
But Paul Codd did not miss even one free last Sunday. Chance for him now to start here on a positive note. He's a very good free taker. So Wexford finally get their opening score, and that goal by John Carroll separating the teams. Brendan Commons varying the puck out. It was intended for O'Leary, won by Stamp again. More problems perhaps for the Wexford backs. Owen Kelly. Rory Mallon was sliding his way around there, and that final shot has gone wide. Well, we've seen O'Mara miss one. We've now seen Kelly miss one as well. Useful chances. And based on what we saw last week, Tip would want to be taking a very high percentage of all the opportunities that come their way. Kelly. That's Paul Kelly towards Brian O'Mara. Declan Ryan trying to come onto it, held off by Darragh Ryan. Whipped away there, but not too far. That's David Kennedy. Down towards John Carroll. The loose ball picked up by O'Mara. That wasn't a fair tackle. It was high, and the referee, I think, is going to have a word with Darragh Ryan. I think there's going to be another booking. Watch what happened here. Oof. Brian O'Mara is the one on the receiving end. So that's 2 yellow cards now against 2 of the Wexford players. Darragh Ryan there, and Mitch Jordan earlier on. Referee Pat Horan not standing for any kind of nonsense. The opportunity been taken by players to dry the angles of the Hurleys.
Jared, they'd also be using resin on a day like today to kind of get the stickiness into your hands where your hurl won't fly.
O'Mara. Sure, he's disappointed he'd been taken off last Sunday. Selectors had no hesitation of bringing him back at the earliest opportunity. Owen Kelly to hit this one. 1 point from a free so far. And he has done his job to perfection. People are absolutely sopping. There's no let up, it's relentless. David Kennedy against Larry Murphy. Kennedy winning it. Opting to kick it in towards John Carroll. Being marked by Declan Root now. Here comes Mark O'Leary. Stamp is after him. That's David O'Connor. Oh, out comes Mark O'Leary and he's put it over the bar. Mark O'Leary getting his first point of the day. Tip fans will be happy. They lead at this stage, as you can see, by a goal and 3 points to a point.
Yeah, Gerard, that was a mistake there by the Wexford defence, but you're going to get mistakes on a day like this, and whatever force can capitalise on it, they win the game.
I noticed Tony Dempsey running down behind the goal, just if you watch the replay of that, just trying to settle down his backs. It started well. David O'Connor, deemed to have fouled Lar Corbett, doesn't agree with the decision. But it's going to be a free in. And they're bringing out Owen Kelly to hit this one. Anything around 45 metres and in is in Kelly's territory. Further out than that, you'd be expecting Tommy Dunn to hit it. And that is another superbly hit free. So 3 points in all so far for Owen Kelly. And the fans realising, as I do, that it's futile trying to mark numbers into your programme this afternoon. David Kennedy. Oh, that's nicely taken by Rory Mallon. Knew he was going to be hooked, lost the stick in any case. Gamely going in with his boot. Comes here to Eddie Enright. Several challenges coming in. One by Darren Stamp, very plucky player. Opportunities here. In by Mitch Jordan and in beyond the side netting and wide. Can't believe it. 2 wides now for Wexford. This was Mitch Jordan here, but causing no problems whatsoever for Brendan Cummins. Stephen Bowe, the team doctor, has had to come in and attend here. I think it's Darren Stamp. This requires a little bit of attention. Tony Dempsey also to make sure that he's able to continue. He's limiting Mark O'Leary as well as he can, and that's no easy task. Brendan Cummins drops this one in, but Larry O'Gorman is under it. Larry is on Eddie Enright this afternoon. Rory McCarthy fouled by Paul Kelly. There's Eddie Enright. In fact, it's Eddie Enright who's committed the foul. Will Martin Storey be coming in? It's one of the big questions, but I imagine if he were to come in at some stage, it probably would be in the second half. There's a ticking there for Eddie Enright. No booking, just his number noted. Paul Codd is a superb free taker. 2-pointed frees now for Paul Codd. And he's made it 1-4 to 2 points. Well, Wexford, remember, went 18 minutes towards the end of the first half last Sunday without scoring. They'd want to put a little consistent spell together. Paul Codd didn't make much of a connection. David Kennedy likes to hand pass the ball around to a freer colleague, Lar Corbett. He's come well away from the Wexford goal, not a good shot. Declan Ruth skillfully getting it back up towards Mitch Jordan. Jordan's on the left-hand side, Gary Laffin's on the right. Nicky Lambert's in the middle. There too is Philip Marr.
So far, Mitch Jordan has won a lot of ball in his corner, but he's not actually finishing with it.
He's up there against Tomas Costello. Jack Bergen in the background there. Jack was a right corner back for Tipperary, I seem to remember, in the 80s. Played with Nicky and played with Ken Hogan, of course, as well. That's a great ball in. Bounces back out, however. Here's Costello, expecting the challenge from Jordan. Jordan upends him, and Mitch has to be careful. He's been booked already. I think the fans appreciating the plight of the players this afternoon. It's free to be hit by Philip Marr. On beyond Tommy Dunn. In by Mark O'Leary. Declan Ruth going down to try and block that one. Tommy Dunn was advancing. Hit away by Adrian Fenlon. Mitch Jordan, or rather it's Gary Laffin who switched wings even in the last couple of seconds. That's backed by Enright. Broken by Brian O'Mara, tried to roll it up onto the stick. Difficult to do today. And here's Liam Dunn to Rory McCarthy, the man with the goal touch. Struggling to get away from the attentions there of Paul Kelly. And the attentions were of a foul nature, so it's going to be another free. This time the referee noting the name of Paul Kelly. This is what happened, and Kelly has got the yellow card for that, I can tell you. So that's 3 yellow cards so far. Paul Codd again. He's hit them over from longer distances than this, and he's got another. 3 points for Paul Codd. But they're Wexford's only scores, and they've all come from frees.
So far, the referee has given out 3 yellow cards. On a day like today, they're not really hard, like, you know, they're not dirty teams as such, and someone could go very easy.
Wexford looking for a bit more from the rest of the forwards in open play. And Tip will have to be disciplined to make sure they don't give away silly frees. Here's Lar Corbett. He'll have been disappointed, I think, with last week's performance, hoping to up that considerably today. So far not happening for him. Darragh Ryan kicking it away towards Larry Murphy. Dunn was coming onto it, never made it. It's the other Dunn instead, Tommy Dunn. Over a half-hearted effort, neither a shot nor a pass. Damien Fitzhenry, a huge one. David Kennedy's going back towards it, doesn't win it. Instead it's Mitch Jordan, and Wexford have scored their first point from play. And it is Mitch Jordan who's done it for them.
Yeah, Jerry, he's definitely the most liveliest forward they have, and he's threatening that for the last few minutes.
Well, he's in there in the corner, causing a lot of damage to the Tipperary backs. And that was a great score. Missed 2 earlier on, however. Paul Codd is now out on the 40, and his role is to try and limit the effectiveness of David Kennedy. And they've switched to Larry Murphy across to left half forward, where he's being marked by Eamon Corcoran. Won here well by Liam Dunn. Inside towards Paul Codd. Good angled ball across. Might run for Larry Murphy. It does. This is one they need, and Larry has got it. Nice bit of combined play. And William Ragalooster, he got his first point of the day, his first chance as well. And all of a sudden, there are only a couple of points between the teams. This is the good spell that Wexford were looking for. Now they've got to make it count. Back by Kennedy once again.
Jared, this is where Tip have to weather the storm. The ball is starting to come back down top of them. Their half-back line under their own puck out have gone out a good bit out the field, maybe too far. But if they can weather this storm, they're well in the game.
It'll be Adrian Fenlon once again, like a master craftsman, to try and cut this one up. Inside towards Gary Laffin this time, and Gary Laffin deemed to have been fouling Tomás Costello. It'll be a free to Tipperary. This long-range free to be taken by Eamon Corcoran. Took an awful lot last week. Doesn't get a good connection. Slipped away off his stick and went out over the sideline. So Wexford will have the cut once again. Mick Kinsella there in the background, brother of Rory, who of course was one of the selectors with Liam Griffin back in 1996 and later coached and managed the team to retain the Leinster title. That's a push in the back this time on Gary Laffin. They can protest as much as they want, but Laffin went down. Costello deemed to have committed the foul. And Nicky English realises his side have all the technique and the skill, but they need that physique as well that Gerlach Nan was talking about before the game. They've only got a 2-point lead. Codd can eat into that. And he does so very effectively. Only 1 point between the teams. About 28 minutes gone and it's 1-4. That's 7 points to Wexford 6.
Last 10 minutes, Wexford have taken over completely.
Very worrying feature for the Tipperary fans and their management as well. Larry O'Gorman almost slipping, but Balletic almost getting it out eventually and succeeding. Corcoran back in. Here's Owen Kelly. And that will restore their confidence. It's a score that they've needed. A 4th point now for Owen Kelly. And that's their first score, Tipperary, for 10 minutes of play. After the Larry O'Gorman clearance came straight back down towards the Wexford backs. Kelly got it, swiveled well, and a very good shot. Here's Larry Murphy, opening up his broad shoulders, dropping it in dangerously. Nicky Lambert trying to get his hand to it. Second chance here, trying to link up inside with Larry O'Gorman in a very advanced situation, going for another goal. He's fouled, it's a free in. Certainly the Tipperary backs are giving away far too many frees.
Yeah, well, Joe, Wexford are driving at them as such, and here there could have been a third man tackle this time, but the referee played the advantage as such and the ball went in. Once Larry got it inside, nothing was going to stop him. He gets a free and this should be another score. But it is.
Foul is by Corcoran and that's gone wide. The referee is going in. I think he may be telling the umpire that in fact, is it to be taken again, or is, yes, it's a 65.
Yeah, Jerry went to take a fast free. You know, it actually worked one of the days. He stuck it in the back of the net, but today it didn't work, but to get a 65 out of it.
So about 5 minutes of normal playing time, plus perhaps a minute or two to be added on. Paul Codd striking it brilliantly. 5 points for Paul Codd. That's his first 65, but he's been hitting frees from that kind of distance anyway. And he's made it 1-5 to 7 points. Only a point between the teams. That goal by John Carroll has been hugely important. Goal after 9 minutes. A little bit of pushing and jostling, which the referee has noted, and he's gone across to John Carroll, player we were talking about, and he's given him a yellow card. So that's level up the card calls so far, 2 yellows each, and now the linesman has spotted all kinds of rough and tumble stuff happening. Liam Dunn is involved and Brian O'Mara. Pat Ahern had a right good view of that one. He was level with it. It was behind the referee's back, and now he's pointing out exactly what he saw.
Yeah, the two of them have been booked here. They're at one another, jabbing and stabbing with the hurls, and he'll book both of them with yellow cards. And if they're not careful, someone's going to get a second yellow, and then they're gone.
It's a red. They are gone.
Two of them.
Brian O'Mara and Liam Dunn. It was very silly. I don't know who started it, but the referee has finished it. And both sides are down to 14 players. In the 32nd minute, Dunn is sent off. Likewise, Brian O'Mara. What effect will that have on the match? Oof, a wild pull. Mitch Jordan could be in trouble because he's already been booked. He's already received a yellow card and now it's red. Wexford are down to 13.
I predicted this, Ger. You could see it happen all along. Like, the conditions are unreal. It's very, very slippy, and lads are kind of throwing caution to the wind. And when you're booked already, anything can happen. Wild swing.
It was a very, very reckless pull there. And this is what happened for the sending off earlier on. You can see referee had no option once the referee's attention had been brought to that by his linesman. 13 for Wexford, 14 for Tipperary.
During the sooner the time runs out here onto half-time, the better, where both managers can get into the dressing with their teams and settle them down and start hurling.
It's a free to Tipperary. They have a 1-point lead. Adrian Fenlon. Hooked. Mark O'Leary went in. Broke it well to Enright. Fired inside towards Owen Kelly. John Carroll coming onto it. Darragh Ryan trying to block his path to go. Gets it up onto his hand. Now trying to turn inside, looking for support. He was aware that he could have been caught for barging. He was looking for support. It wasn't available initially. Lark Corbett getting it back here to Mark O'Leary, and O'Leary restores a bit of order after a hectic period and puts it over the bar. That's 2 points now in this match for Mark O'Leary, and he's made it 1-6 to 7 points. This was Lark Corbett setting up the pass here for O'Leary, got away from Stamp, put it over, with just over a minute still remaining. That's some normal playing time. O'Connor. Tommy Dunn. Having plenty of time. Picking out Declan Ryan. Tipped with the extra man. How will they use that? Ryan lets it go high in there into the inside forwards. Carroll's trying to get onto it. So too is Owen Kelly. Rory Mallon. Got incessant pressure on those Wexford backs. Declan Ruth. Fenlon coming to collect. Taking it away from Lark Corbett. Rory McCarthy is there to help. And then he's fouled by Declan Ryan. There'll be 1 extra minute to be played onto the 35, we've been told. This is Rory McCarthy, and that's where he was upended. Just looking around the field to see where the extra man is being deployed. Hard to see just yet. That's Cods free all the way in towards Nicky Lambert. Larry Murphy trying to get onto it as well. The back standing firm, and it's out by Paul Ormond. Out to the middle. Broken down here by Declan Ruth. A lot will depend on his ability now to hold the half-back line together. Paul Codd firing it in from a huge distance out, and that's gone over the bar. Wonderful play by Paul Codd. His 6th point in this match. 1-6 to 8 points. Tipperary with a 1-point advantage, a 1-man advantage as well, however. And this was Paul Codd, and that was about 65 metres out. Brendan Cummins trying to set his forward line away once again. Rory McCarthy back there helping out. Time for one more attack by Tipperary. That 1 extra minute has now elapsed, and you can see Nicky English is giving his captain Tommy Dunn a towel just to try and dry the hands. Every point scoring opportunity so vital. Can he put it over the bar from here? He opts to put it in instead. Broken by Ruth, saved by Rory Mallon, hooked however by Declan Ryan, and the referee whistles the end of a first half. Little between the teams, just a point. The all-important goal by John Carroll, but the big talking point, the sendings off by referee Pat Oren. The last to be sent off, as we note, there was Mitch Jordan. Before that, it was Brian O'Mara and Liam Dunn, both of them sent to the far sideline. It's Tipperary with 14 men, Wexford with 13. And at half-time, it's Tip who have a slight advantage. And the half-time score shows them leading by 1-6 to 8 points.
And John Lahey likewise with Tipperary. Tom Dempsey, just looking ahead to the second half now, couple of men down, could it open it up? What sort of tactics do you think your team will have to adopt?
Well, I think that very often, Jim, when you go into the dressing room and you're one man above the other team, it can cause more problems than anything else, and I'm hoping that'll be the same with Tipperary. I'd just like to say that I felt that in a high-octane game like it is today, with the stakes so high, maybe Liam Dunn and his opponent should have been just taken aside, given a yellow card, said, look, lads, get on with the game or you're gone. Because, I mean, these guys, everything is at stake for these guys today, and I thought the referee was very, very quick to put them off. But certainly, I was very, very happy that we got into the game much quicker than last Sunday, Jim, and I think that we're hurling well, and I'm not counting Wexford out. We've hearts as big as lions, Jim, and we're going to...
And on a day like this, a free taker could be your hero.
A free taker could be everything. It's not going to be a high-scoring game, and I thought our lads did admirably to come back from such a bad start, 1-6 to a point. And I'm very, very hopeful, and I know our lads will fight like dogs when they go out.
Tom, thanks a lot. John Lahey, you must be very upset, John, about the man who was sent off for you.
Oh, I think so. I agree with what Tom said. Like, it's a pure disgrace, because with conditions and everything, there's going to be mistakes made, and people are going to go in late and all that. Like, it's a disgrace. Like, from a game's point of view, you know, everyone is going out there doing their best, and the conditions are bad. And, you know, as Tom said, you know, they should be brought aside, 2 yellow cards, and that'd be the end of it, you know.
Johnny, a lot of people watching at home just can't possibly know how bad the conditions are.
Well, the conditions are bad. It's raining the whole time. The underground is slippy, and, you know, there are going to be mistakes made. But, like, in fairness, I think the two teams are, you know, they're giving it all, and, you know, it's exciting stuff, and it's close, and, you know, it's all to play for in the second half.
The ticket to the final, John, the job to be done out there.
Oh, there's a job to be done, like, and, you know, we came in last Sunday with 8 points up, and, you know, we're only a point up today, so, you know, we have to fight an awful lot harder, like, than we did even in the first half, so please God that we'll come away winners.
Gentlemen both, thanks for talking to us.
Thanks very much.
Indeed, Jarlock Nan. The two lads, Tom Dempsey and John Lahey, felt it was a little bit harsh. Do you agree?
Well, there's nothing nasty about this game whatsoever. He's played in atrocious conditions. The hurling is outstanding. The skill level is brilliant. And the crowd here are on their toes. Both teams, when they came out at the start, you knew they were really up for the game. And they've torn into the game. Now, fellas have made mistakes. They've slipped into tackles. And when an incident did occur between Liam Dunn and Brian O'Mara, it wasn't a serious incident. First of all, the two of them are really close to each other, just digging each other. Now, what harm is going to come of that? I know it looks a bit nasty, but they're so close to each other, nobody's going to get hurt. Now, the referee comes over, it's a straight yellow, a red card. Now, look at here, what's going to happen? One of these players is going to miss the All-Ireland.
This is the other thing about sending off. Michael Duigan, Mitch Jordan was on a yellow card before this, so he knew he had to be careful.
Yeah, Mitch Jordan, I suppose, one of those games for Mitch. Won loads of possession, had a few wides, probably getting a bit frustrated, and pulls a very wild throw. Like, that is a straight red card, there's no doubt about that. He was on the yellow, he could have got a second yellow, but really I think that was a straight red card. And he's been involved in a few incidents. But the first sending off, again, if that happened in the first minute of the game, I don't think they'd hardly raise an eyebrow. And
you know the referee obviously here very well.
I know the referee well, he's from my own club, but
yeah.
Leaving that aside, that type of digging that went on there, way worse than that always happens in the first few minutes of any game, and any player will know that. There's always a bit of digging, sorting each other out. And I think it was just maybe 2 minutes before that, Eamon Corcoran made a very late tackle on Darren Stamp. I'd say it was the worst tackle of the first half, and he got away scot-free with it. The player went along and he wasn't even called back afterwards.
I think the difference there, in fairness, was the linesman went in. The linesman went in straight away because he called over the referee to it. So probably the linesman had a big influence on the two players being sent off as well. So that's something that a lot of people probably didn't see, that the linesman here had a big input to the two players being sent off as well.
Tip obviously won't want to lose Brian O'Mara from this game, but I would argue the point that Wexford have lost 2 key players on their side.
God, it's a massive loss to Wexford, not alone for today, but if they qualify after today, Liam Dunn, you know, would be a huge loss all day. Mitch Jordan is their best forward, you know. So Mitch, he was actually playing really, really well, even though he wasn't getting the return score-wise. He got a brilliant point, all right. But those two would be a massive loss if Wexford got through. But it's just a shame for the sake of the game. Yeah. This is a brilliant game in these conditions. You know, you're sitting here and you feel miserable. The time is passing by like a flash. It's absolutely fabulous.
All right, gentlemen, thank you for your thoughts for the moment. We have another commercial break to take.
That's here of 39,120. It's a very, very good crowd. And it hasn't been a rough match in that sense. But as you know, 3 sendings off so far. Tipperary leading by a point. Second half is underway. Tip have made a change as well. Lark Corbett has gone off, and the player has come on as Eugene O'Neill. So early pressure here on David O'Connor. Does really well. And a great deal of accuracy in the clearance, however.
At the moment, your Tip have 2 spare backs. Now, they're not going to leave them there all day. Someone will have to push forward, probably Paul Kelly.
At the moment, the corner back has nobody to mark. That's Paul Ormond. Eugene O'Neill trying to get something going inside here with Declan Ryan. Dara Ryan, the Wexford fullback, I should say. Larry O'Gorman struggling. John Carroll. Declan Roof is about there as well, and the linesman is adamant. It's going to be a Tipperary ball. Eddie Enright preparing to hit this one. Former college star Eddie Enright stopped here. Larry O'Gorman trying to get it out. John Carroll trying to get it in. Still opportunities. Mark O'Leary trying to get it up onto the stick. Following it in himself. David O'Connor coming across here. A tower of strength back there for Wexford. Needs to be. David Kennedy for the 14 men of Tipperary. Rory McCarthy for the 13 of Wexford. To Eddie Enright once again. And that has gone to the right this time. First wide of the second half and the 4th in all for Tipperary. All the fans giving plenty of encouragement. Again, Tipperary's extra man would appear to be Paul Ormond, that kept him back in front of the goal area along with Philip Marr. Stopped by Declan Ruth, has to go after it himself. Edwin Fenlon's just ahead of him. Opts to go long. Dropped there by Larry O'Gorman. Here comes Paul Codd. Lashing it in, but it's an easy one for David Kennedy, but in the conditions he made it look very, very easy with that catch, but there's a subsequent foul and a free now for Tipperary. An elbow. And they bring up their goalkeeper now to take this free. There was the elbow there. Larry Murphy, the guilty party. Brendan Cummins striking it 45 metres out from his own goal. Darren Stamp slipping. Fenlon trying to get it away. Stamp is after it as well. Didn't make a very good connection. Second Halabaskin gets it down, but there's the extra man at this stage. Tipperary looking very solid in defence. Damien Fitzhenry's clearance over the head of David Kennedy. Paul Ormond. Rory McCarthy trying to take it. Dogged stuff. Fenlon going in with the challenge. And the referee may have to throw the ball in. Larry Murphy, the last one to pick himself off the ground. With injury over there. But, Tommy Dunn is okay. Fenlon going in there with Eddie Enright. And picked up here by Enright. Back it goes there to Eamon Corcoran. Following on here, Murphy. Stopped by John Carroll. Trying to get it forward towards Mark O'Leary. But you can see the difficulties the players are having in the awful conditions.
What they need at the moment is someone just to let the ball out to the wing, because there's plenty of space, there's less people on the pitch.
There's a fumble over there. They wait for David Kennedy to come forward. Tommy Dunn, classical style, lovely wrist work, pushing the back by Rory Mallon. Player was fouled was Owen Kelly. And the referee has brought the ball forward 13 metres because Wexford protested too much and didn't retreat. Perfectly positioned now for Owen Kelly to hit this one. There was the foul that brought about this decision. Well, he's been very precise with his frees so far, 3 from 3. They wait inside, but he'll try and put this one as high as possible and over the crossbar, and makes no mistake. That's 5 points in all that he scored. One of the points came from play. Fitzhenry's puck out. Costello going to meet it, lets it slip from his grasp, however. And Larry Murphy. And because there are 2 Larrys in the team, sometimes the other Larry Murphy, is known as the brother. Larry Orman was the last one to try and follow that one in. Short puck out, very sensible play now by Tipperary, out to Paul Kelly. Trying to use their advantage, well caught by Carroll. Tipperary's goal scorer in the first half. Rory McCarthy was coming back, fouled him, and it's a free in once more for Tipperary. This is where Carroll was deemed to have been fouled by Rory McCarthy. Well, he was stumbling anyway. Once more the towel is out to try and give the free taker every advantage. Owen Kelly. Well, he's put it wide for once. That's 5 wides now for Tipperary in this match. It's a let-off for Wexford. Wexford looking for their first score of the second half. Larry Murphy leading assistance. Back to Adrian Fenlon. Then the extra man in defence. It's a telling factor. Batted down by Rory Mallon. Owen Kelly picking it up for Tip. Sent in beautifully inside here. This is the substitute, and that's a second goal for Tipperary, and it's scored by Eugene O'Neill. He came on at half-time. Huge gaps once again opening up in the Wexford backline. 7.5 minutes into the second half, and Tipperary 2-7 to Wexford's 8 points.
Yeah, lovely passing movement. Like young Owen Kelly picks him out here with a lovely little flick, takes it right in, up onto the goal. Nothing Fitzhenry to do, a little tap in the back of the net.
Well, this is a player who played in the All-Ireland final in 1997 against Clare. Got the great experience that year. He just seemed to build on it somewhat, but he's back this year. Once again, it's Paul Kelly. Declan Ruth in trouble, on by John Carroll. Dara Ryan, leg seems to be tripped. Again, the Wexford backs having a lot of pressure to contend with. You really have to feel for the players. That's taken quickly inside towards Declan Ryan. Good period of supremacy this by Tipperary. This time he was barging, and it's got to be a free out for Wexford.
Yeah, Gerard, I'd say the viewers at home don't realise how bad the conditions are. There's a nice breeze and it's very, very heavy misty rain. It's very hard to hold your feet.
Wexford are about to bring in Barry Lambert. He wasn't programmed. He plays for the St. Martin's Club in Wexford. They hope to freshen things up a little bit. This time it's a free against Eamon Corcoran. A push. Once again they bring out the free taker, who of course is Paul Codd.
This will test him, Dodger, because there's a nice bit out, it's a hard angle, and there's a fair enough breeze and wind and rain against them.
Gary Lappin is going off, but first Paul Codd with this free. Not quite getting it over the bar, but it was Nicky Lambert who was trying to get the stick to it, but Brendan Commons makes the save. Good lengthy clearance. Slipping and sliding over there was David O'Connor, pushed in the back. Fouled by Tommy Dunn. Free to Wexford. So Gary Laffin's going off, and Barry Lambert is the one who comes on. This is what happened here. It was Nicky Lambert who was attempting to try and get the stick to it. Also being prepared on the far side is Martin Storey. And the fourth official is holding up a board on the far side. His attention is given there to Paul Kelly. Number 20 is Gary Latham. He'll be coming off. Barry Lambert comes on. So two Lamberts now on the Wexford team. Nicky here from Foyt Harriers and Barry from St. Martin's. It's a yellow card. Referee has been a very busy man. I think most fans here will feel that greater allowances should have been made for the conditions. Paul Codd. Again, it drops short in there. Tipperary there in numbers. That's Philip Marr, their fullback. Big cheer from the fans, getting up towards Mark O'Leary. Now Tommy Dunn stepping through the cover. Darren Stamps after him, young under-21 player. Tommy Dunn. Didn't get a particularly good connection, but so difficult. David O'Connor whipping it out. Nicky Lambert has gone out towards towards midfield, it seems. And he's racing back in once again. There's Barry Lambert. One man inside against three Tipperary backs. And finally it's Paul Kelly. Great heart and determination, getting that one away. Ruth for Fenlon, but straight at a Tipperary back. Here comes Owen Kelly. Took his time, beautifully done, and he glides it over the bar. He just slowed his momentum a little bit, realised he had the advantage there on Rory Mallon, and that's a great score. There are 2 goals between the teams. Lovely skill, beautiful hurling. Last man to touch that was Adrian Fenlon. Well, at this stage it's going all very nicely for the Premier men.
At the moment, they're completely on top, and if you get a few more scores, they've gone over the side. But Wexford are so much hard you can never count them out. But the extra man down, like it is beginning to tell.
Larry O'Gorman has gone up full forward, I can tell you, on Philip Marr. That's Simon Corcoran, and that's just to the right. Had a decent connection, but couldn't direct it on target. So now inside in that inside forward line of Wexford, just 2 men in there, Barry Lambert and also Larry O'Gorman, but they can't get the possession in. That's Barry Lambert beaten for there by Tomas Costello. Corcoran beyond route this time. Rory Mallon trying to come out for it. John Carroll dragging it forward. Declan Ryan has it taken away from him by Darragh Ryan, and finally it's away by Adrian Fenlon. But just in that little area of the field where the ball is right now, I'm counting 5 or 6 Tipperary backs and 2 Wexford forwards.
That has to be the way, Joe, because Wexford are down a man, but they're actually playing an extra man in defence, so up front they're down actually 2 men.
And this time it's going to be a booking, I think, for Darren Stamp. Yellow card. Darren, who plays for the Owler Tabalach club. That's Martin Storey's club. And we let others count the number of yellow cards and so on in this match, because my programme has gone into liquidation. I've been told 6 yellows so far and 3 reds. Martin Storey coming in as we watch Owen Kelly strike this one between the posts and put it over. The clenched fist saying it all. 2-9 to 8 points. And it's going to be Larry O'Gorman, last week's hero, man of the match, who goes off the Wexford team, and Martin Storey is coming on. A 37-year-old replacing a 33-year-old. But it lifted the crowd last week. It lifted the team. Can he do it again? Great catch by Nicky Lambert. He's happier out there around the middle of the field. But it's a Tipperary back managing to take it once again. That was Paul Ormond. John Carroll now getting away from Declan Ruth. And it's Nicky Lambert who goes back. Boot is lost there, Nicky Lambert's. But it's Wexford who are losing the match. Ger Cush, their former full-back, alongside Tony Dempsey. And the doctor is needed again to attend to an injured player, which seems to be Owen Kelly. Kelly, who comes from the Mullinahone club, same club as Brian O'Mara, and of course the great John Lahey.
At the moment, your Wexford put another man forward. They're only one short up front, because like what they were doing was suicide. You couldn't afford to be too short up there.
Once again, it's Rory McCarthy trying to lift the team. How they need a goal. It's a great run, but can he get it into a colleague? Can they set up a scoring chance? Barry Lambert. And he has put it away to the left. No joy. And Wexford failing to add to the scores they had in the first half. Declan Ryan is going off the Tipperary team, and it'll be Paddy O'Brien who will come on. There he is, being called aside.
Completely different player now to Declan Ryan. Not as strong, but far more mobile.
And that mobility and speed, as we've seen there with Eugene O'Neill, it can really torment any backline, and especially a team playing with 13.
And they'll put Eugene O'Neill in full forward.
That's out by Declan Ruth, but in comes Mark O'Leary, wanting to replicate his tally from last Sunday when he scored 4 wonderful points. Was arguably Tip's man of the match. Larry Murphy towards Martin Storey, beaten for it this time, and it's Paul Ormond who gets it out. Missed completely by Larry Murphy. Rory Mallon coming in to assist. Larry taking out the mouth shield just to make his point to the linesman. Gum shield back in. Linesman opting to throw the ball in. And it looked like it was Paddy O'Brien who got the last touch on that one. Well, that second goal seems to have dampened the spirits of the fans, who are well and truly drenched at this stage, but they're looking for a good finish. Rory McCarthy fouled as he was going through. Paul Kelly was coming across, so too was Tomas Costello. So will this be Wexford's first point of the second half? Almost 19 minutes played. Paul Codd happy to lash it over the bar. He's got 9 points in all in this match. Brendan Cummins. Declan Ruth coming across, reading the flight path of the ball there, or attempting to do so, but it'll end up being a sideline ball. Linesman is adamant that he got the last touch, so Tip get the decision. Well, Nicky English will be well aware that the job is only half done at this stage. Eddie Enright. In beyond John Carroll. Darragh Ryan trying to get it out with the aid of Nicky Lambert. Great pick up by Paul Codd. Released here to Larry Murphy. Dragged on by Rory McCarthy. Paul Ormond trying to stop him. Inside towards Larry Murphy once again. Trying to go through on his own almost. Thought he was going to get a free, got nothing. And the ball is out by Eamon Corcoran. Back by Nicky Lambert. Over the head of Martin Storey. Barry Lambert. An enterprising ball inside here. Philip Morgan, a vital touch to that. But it comes out here only as far as Paul Codd. And Codd sees his shot come down off the upright. And back out to Paul Kelly. Adrian Fenlon lets the ball bounce out of his hands. Declan Ruth feeding it back to him. Lobbing it in dangerously in towards Murphy. Saved by Brendan Cummins. Good call by Tommy Dunn, the captain. Once again, tipped looking dangerous. Stopped by Darragh Ryan. Pursued by the goal scorer of the second goal, that is Eugene O'Neill. Costello. Stalemate situation. Paddy O'Brien over there with David O'Connor. Adrian Fenlon's jersey seemed to be tongued back that time. But these are the conditions the players are having to put up with, and they're slipping and sliding, and it's so awkward. Paddy O'Brien went for his own score that time, I think. And Damien Fitzhenry decides to save it from going out and restart at the back with Rory Mallon. Diagonal pass across here towards Paul Codd. Difficult one for Barry Lambert. Stick is gone, ball is almost gone, and in the end there's a wrestle to the ground there, and Tomás Costello wins the free for Tipperary. Well, there's still about 13 minutes to play here. Brendan Cummins with the free. It's a huge one. The backs committing themselves, and it's Darragh Ryan, who's one of the best full-backs around this season. Paul Ormond. Oof. The pitch is really cutting up big time. And you just wonder what it's going to be like tomorrow for Kilkenny against Galway. At least the forecast is that the rain is going to ease. Nicky Lambert has made a big run through the centre. Wasn't spotted by Paul Codd. Lambert has joined the attack. And the referee going in once again, having a word with Nicky Lambert. And the sideline ball is now being left to Adrian Fenlon.
That makes a bit more sense, Joe, because Paul Codd needs to be inside around the goal.
Wexford need a goal here. Stopped by Tipperary. Still the pressure is on. And in the end, Philip Marr was coming out with that. He's trying to gee up his colleagues now for one final big push to see them into this year's final of the Guinness All-Ireland Hurling Championship. 11 minutes still to play.
A tip needed the moment, Gerard, some of the forwards get out in front and tap over a pint or two.
Pressure on the Wexford backs once more. Declan Ruth. Tommy Dunn trying to come on to it. It's getting very dark here now at Croke Park. Rory Mallon left a bit exposed in there. A couple of forwards coming in on top of him. Darragh Ryan. Well, whatever happens here when Tony Dempsey looks back on this season, he will feel that he is building a team for the future. And they've got great experience. Paul Kelly. Still problems here for the Wexford backs.
Yeah, Jerry.
And we now welcome viewers on RTE1 watching the 6 o'clock news. The story here at Croke Park is that Tipperary have a 2-goal advantage. They've also got a free in coming up very shortly. They're leading by 2 goals and 9 points to 9 points. Their goal scored by John Carroll after 9 minutes of the first half, and a second goal by Eugene O'Neill 7.5 minutes into the second half. 3 players have been sent off, 1 from Tipperary and 2 from Wexford. It's 13 men against 14. It's looking good for Tipperary, and they look to be on their way. There's still about 10 minutes to play here. If you want the hurling, it's on Network 2, and if you want the news, of course, it's on the channel you're watching right now, RTE1. Aidan Butler, I think, is about to come in place of Mark O'Leary. So Nicky English giving another player a chance to experience this All-Ireland semi-final occasion. And in comes Aidan Butler. He's from Clonulty, Rossmore, same club as Declan Ryan. Wexford pressing forward, Adrian Fenlon. It's broken down as far as David Kennedy. Stories coming in, how he'd love to score. Still going forward like a steamroller, but Tipperary manfully getting back goal side. It's out for Larry Murphy. It just needs a touch and it's gone wide. And it was Barry Lambert who had the opportunity. One of those dangerous balls right across the face of Brendan Cummins' goal. Just needed a little touch. Fed back there nicely. Larry Murphy, and the finish from Barry Lambert, but it's outside and it's wide. They needed a little bit of a break because they won't give up in a hurry. Rory Mallon straight to Tommy Dunn, and this one just going left. On the wides front, 8 so far for Tipperary and 5 for Wexford.
Eddie United has gone into to wing forward as such there now, and Butler has gone midfield.
Shawnee Flood may be about to come on. Will he come into the Wexford half-back line? Because they must be very, very tired, having had to play with 13 against 14 for Tip. John Carroll, still a spring in his step, but he's put that one wide. Goal and a point last week rather, and of course a goal today. And it's Larry Murphy is going off, and Shawnee Flood will be coming in. Very sadly missed the final of the '96 All-Ireland when he was injured and couldn't take his place that day. Larry was there, but now he's going to leave the scene for the remaining 7 minutes. Tip have now decided that Paul Kelly will be their spare man at left half-back. Everybody else is picked up. Darragh Ryan has come down into the forward line. He's left his full-back position, so Wexford playing with just 2 inside backs, as it were, against 2 inside forwards. It leaves a lot of space, however. Will it be exploited here? Eugene O'Neill comes on and strikes it over the bar, and sends out an invitation, I think, as well to the management to seriously consider him for the final. That's a goal and a point that he's now scored. Paul Kelly. Paddy O'Brien trying to get something. Nicky Lambert way back, helping out David O'Connor. And it's going to be interesting, Cyril, if Tip do get through here, as it looks likely at this stage, there will be a vacancy because Brian O'Mara sadly is going to miss the final.
Yeah, but they have a lot of very good players. You know, it'll be someone's misfortune, but someone else's fortune.
Here come Wexford again. Barry Lambert hitting it in, stopped by Philip Marr. The advance parade is arriving in the Wexford shirts. It was Darragh Ryan trying to get the snapshot to it. It's out in the end, however. Strong challenges. John Carroll. Eugene O'Neill again, pressurising Rory Mallon. Gets it on his stick, taking on Nicky Lambert. This time on his left-hand side, and he's put it wide. Wasn't too much in that.
Tip forwards are getting great space at the moment. They are on top, and Limerick have thrown caution to the wind. Like the find of the year, Darragh Ryan fullback is actually up in the forwards at the moment.
He's playing full forward, in fact, on Philip Marr. But it's all Tipperary. Tommy Dunn. This time in beyond the full back line. Damien Fitzhenry. Players coming in on top of him. Eugene O'Neill. Little push. Free to Wexford. Story can't take it. Instead it is Declan Ruth towards Rory McCarthy. Wexford with only 1 point to show for the second half. They've been taken apart really by Tipperary, and that's going to be a free out, and the cheers that you hear now are from the fans of the Premier County, the Munster champions. This is what was happening here a little while ago, and that was Paul Ormond fouled. Cummins with this free, it's a huge one again, off the stick of Declan Ruth. And the final effort there is by Kelly, and that's another point for the youngster. Owen Kelly with a total, I think, of 6 points. And now it's 2-12 to 9 points. Well, let's give Owen Kelly full credit. That should be 9 points. I can't read these notes anymore. They're just sopping. Here once again comes the wing-back, Eamon Corcoran. It'll be Wexford's possession. Barry Goff is coming in place of Barry Lambert. Barry who came on as a sub. Now he's making way for the remaining 3 or 4 minutes. Two teams who got to know one another terribly well over the last 6 days. So the fresh man is in. That's Barry Goff from Foyt Harriers. Adrian Fenlon gets it up well here. Good defending once again by Tipperary. That was Tomás Costello. Martin Story back for Paul Codd, going this way and that, and finally putting it wide. It wouldn't really have mattered terribly much. The game is beyond Wexford. That's their 6th wide. Nicky English should be very pleased with the way his Chargers have resolutely gone about their task this afternoon. There'll be 1 minute of extra time to be played, along with the 1 and a bit that we see up on the screen until we get to the 70. Declan Ruth fouled. Paul Codd coming out to take the free. And the referee having words there with Tipperary's Aidan Butler. Another card. Codd dropping it in this time. Darragh Ryan coming to take it, but it's swept away from him, out as far as Eddie Enright and Tommy Dunn, and Dunn is the one who clears it way downfield, dangerously in there. It's Eugene O'Neill once again, and well dispossessed by David O'Connor, but still problems for the Wexford backs. Tip still prepared to cause a lot of difficulty. We've got a lot of difficulty as well up here, I can tell you, with the rain lashing in. Fenlon sweeping it away downfield to Darragh Ryan. A late chance perhaps for him. and that's gone over the bar. Wexford with a late one there, but really it doesn't matter an awful lot. It's 2-12 to 10 points, and it was the substitute who managed to get on the end of that one, and that's Barry Goff. And the Tipperary fans, even if they are drenched, they're in celebratory mood right now. Looking forward to the final next month. Will it be against Kilkenny or Galway? Aidan Butler with that final shot. Sent back down by Damien Fitzhenry. Barry Goff beaten for this. Eamon Corcoran. Play dangerously here. Enright inside for Eugene O'Neill, and it's another one. Tipped. Oh, well and truly in the final.
Yeah, beautiful
Eugene
ball.
O'Neill delighted.
Beautiful ball, and the step of the Wexford back. Beautiful ball by Enright into O'Neill, and he won't miss them.
That's 2 goals and a point now that he's scored. What a substitution. It was Enright who played the pass to him selflessly, and it was rattled into the back of the net, and the Tipperary fans can now celebrate. At the second time of asking, they have beaten Wexford, and they're in the 2001 Guinness All-Ireland Hurling final. What a way to finish for Eugene O'Neill. He well and truly played his part, and number 13 there, Owen Kelly, was a real star, a young player. Brendan Cummins did a particularly good job, managed to talk his defence through dangerous moments, and the defence magnificent. It was a great Tipperary team effort. They've won by 11 points. Final score in this replayed semi-final. Tip, 3 goals and 12 points. Wexford, 10 points.
Congratulations to you. Mission accomplished. You've got to an All-Ireland final. But could I first ask you, perhaps to pay tribute to both teams? I mean, the day that was in it.
Yeah, it was a magnificently sporting game, to be honest with you. And I for one failed to see how Wexford could finish with 13 and we could finish with 14. And I feel very sorry for the lads. I don't think there was a dirty blow in the game, and I feel very sorry for particularly Brian O'Mara, who will miss out in an All-Ireland final. I think it's, to be honest with you, I fail to see why.
Nicholas, you're in an All-Ireland final now. Personally, for you, this must be very satisfying, and for Jack and for Ken, because this didn't start this morning.
No, I think, to be honest, you know, ultimately it's all about what goes on between the white lines. And you can question anything you like about this team of ours, but you can never question their character and their heart. And that was questioned during the week by people who should know better, to be honest. And they showed today that in the worst of conditions, which wouldn't suit us, that you know, as well as hurling skill, we have buckets of heart and buckets of bravery and buckets of commitment. And in fairness, they did very well today. But having said that, Wexford fought manfully as well, and it was just unbelievably bad conditions there today, as bad as I've seen for any inter-county hurling match over the last number of years. We're delighted, and you know, we hope the second game will bring us on a ton.
Nicholas, thanks for talking to us. We're going to talk to Ger Cush now. Well done to you.
Thanks, Jim. Thanks, Bob.
Ger, hard luck to your team. You were here as a player. You know the emotions that that can be rife in a game, but yet you must feel going home this evening that you were done. You know that you were hard done by with 2 players in the first half that you needed for the second half, and that you didn't have them.
Yeah, I think you know Mitch got sent off probably for a bit harsh. You went pulling the ball, and your man got a step in front of him and he connected with him. It could have been warned, all right, but I don't think it deserved the sending off. And Liam and his man were just niggling a bit, and the referee came over and sent him off, you know, and like that sent us down to 13 men. And over the course of the game, you know, our lads, you know, they tried like hell, and they gave it everything they had, but it was going to tell with 10 or 15 minutes to go, and they just ran out of steam, you know. But we are very proud of the lads and the way they played, and I think we proved a lot of people wrong over the course of the year, you know. Wexford Hurling is in a rebuilding process, and you know, it's part of learning, and we have to learn after today, you know.
Jerry, if I could go back to the incident, because it will be the most talked about incident for a long time. The boys did show a lack of discipline perhaps, but could the referee have taken the conditions here into account, the circumstances?
Well, the same, I'd have to say I don't think he took a lot of things, the conditions into account, and a lot of the decisions he made today, you know. He didn't let the ball flow at all, you know, the game flow. Like, there was going to be lads sliding and slipping and misjudging the ball, and like the ball got heavy, it wasn't travelling. But lads were so committed, like they weren't going to give an inch, and you know, there was going to be the wild pull here or there, and we were done lucky once that got, you know, that he think we're done wrong, and he sent Mitch off, I thought, very harmless. And you know, 2 lads I definitely didn't deserve to send off, you know, for what they done, you know.
But Jerry, you're happy that you go home with your pride restored?
Oh, definitely, you know, we've a young team there now at the moment, and as we said, we're in a building process, and that's not to say like the older lads really showed their character this year. They've helped out and all. Like lads said, team of '96 was finished, but we've seen some great displays by a lot of lads, Liam Dunn and Damien Fitzhenry, Larry O'Gorman, Adrian Fennell over the last couple of months. You know, so it doesn't matter what age you are. You know, if you have the hurling, you can hurl, and that's it. You know.
Well done to the lads, Ger, and to you for being involved after a long career as a player.
Thanks very much. Thank you.
And thanks indeed to Jim Carney as well, putting the question.
Power performance today, but Darrell Ryan and his colleagues could really do nothing. Ger Loughnane and Michael Duignan about Tip in the second half. 2-6 to 2 points, they outscored them.
Well, that tells its own story. You know, Tip totally dominated the second half. Now, a lot of it was due to the fact that they had the extra man, and they used the extra man really, really well. They played Paul Ormond almost in front of the other two full-backs, and they just mopped up everything that came in there. Now, as well as that, there was a huge improvement today from their forward line, from their work rate, from their scoring, and of course, you had the brilliance of Owen Kelly, and then when Eugene O'Neill came on, he scored 2-1.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing that was missing off the Tip full forward line, that danger when the ball came in. It wasn't there when Lark Corbett and Declan Ryan were there. When Eugene O'Neill came in, he mightn't be the fastest in the world, but he's a brilliant finisher, and he finished both of his goals really well, got a point as well, and laid off tremendous passes for the other team. And as well as that, John Carroll had a much improved performance today over the 70 minutes at centre forward. He was the one player who in the wet conditions could either catch or control the ball first time. But Tip's skill level as well as their determination was absolutely outstanding today.
Their determination, Michael Duignan, was something that Nicky English in the interview referred to there and alluded to some of the criticism that naturally you get, I suppose, after the last day when they were in control of the game and it kind of slipped away from them, or they let Wexford back into it perhaps.
Yeah, they probably lacked a bit of concentration more so than anything the last day. But the determination of both teams today was absolutely tremendous. Out there, the conditions were outrageous, as everyone has said. But I actually feel very sorry for Wexford after this game today. They walk away beaten by, was it 12 points after producing a great performance for the first half, and having two men sent off, you know, ruined the game. It ruined the game for both sides. The second half was a damn script. Sure. Tipperary was going to win once, like great ball from Owen Kelly into Eugene O'Neill and a great goal, but the game was over after that, and you have to feel very sorry. The likes of Larry, or the likes of Adrian Fenlon and Darrell Ryan and David O'Connor, who had outstanding matches, but 13 men, you know, playing against the conditions, you have no chance out there, and I feel very sorry for the Wexford supporters and the team going home tonight.
Well, I suppose if we could, we would give a man of the match trophy to all of the players who battled and braved the conditions out there today. However, there can only be one, and he's with Jim Carney right now.
Owen Kelly, young man with the world at your feet, congratulations to you. It's my pleasure to present you with the RTE Man of the Match Award. This beautiful piece of Galway crest. Well done to you. Thank you very much. Owen, this was a day that you... Yes.
Oh yeah, definitely, I'd say. Well, we came out here today and we knew we had a job to do after kind of maybe letting the lead slip last week. But we knew we had a tough game today, and you see Wexford great heart, like it was only a puck of a ball in it up to half time. And we were just lucky after half time. We got that important goal, like, and we just got another one then, which really set us on the way. So we're delighted with the victory there today.
Owen, you said privately a minute ago that you didn't know how many you scored, but you remember the one that you missed. So that's a level-headed approach.
Everyone remembers the one I missed just in front of the goal there. So luckily enough, someone went over today, and you know what I mean. And the conditions weren't great for free taking or for general play, like, so we're just delighted to get the win, and we look forward to the final.
Every forward who gets scores on will know that there's quality of the ball coming in is a big factor.
Oh, I must. So you just see the ball that the backs were delivering in there under pressure, like in those conditions they were brilliant, like, so fair play. It was a team effort today, that's what won out, so we're delighted. Yeah.
A final thought on your brother Paul came through it well, didn't he, considering that he was doubtful?
Oh, he did. Now he was doubtful there up to the last hour, so lucky for him he came through as well, and hopefully he'll be ready to go for the final as well.
Yeah, well, this trophy we're very pleased to present it to you, Owen, so congratulations to you. Best luck in the final to you.
Thanks very much. Thank you.
Yeah, great performance by Owen Kelly, and indeed, as I said, all of the players out there today in what we keep saying were difficult conditions, but they really were. It looks better on television, I can assure you, than what it did in reality. That's the condition of the pitch after today's match, and of course, Ger Loughnane ahead of tomorrow's game between Kilkenny and Galway.
Well, I tell you, Brian Cody and Noel Lane must be looking at those pictures, or else they're here today and looking at that field with absolute dread of 3:30 tomorrow evening, and considering that there's going to be a minor match here before that, and considering as well that the forecast for tomorrow is very, very bad. You can imagine what weight will be by 5 o'clock tomorrow evening. So the conditions will have a huge influence on tomorrow's game, even a bigger influence than they had on today's.
Well, there's one of the machines that will be used to flatten out the pitch and take some of those bumps and bruises out of it. Mind you, the man in charge of it has obviously decided it's too wet to have a go at it at the moment as well. Gentlemen, let's look at the sendings off again that happened in the first half. Michael Duignan, 3 players sent off. Now, we've heard it referred to in the interviews and we talked about it at half time, but we can't overemphasise the significance this had in the course of the game.
Yeah, I think if you have one sending off, and it's 14 against 15. It's not too bad, you know. You see here now.
This was the first one. Liam Dunn and Brian O'Mara get their marking orders for this.
Okay, if you're looking at that at home, and maybe as a parent you're saying, look, that looks terrible, but you know that goes on in hurling. It's only a little bit of digging. There's the second sending off. Now, I'd have to admit, I don't agree with Ger Cush on that one. I think that was a sending off. He'd already been booked, and you know he's a couple of yards behind the play. And if you watch here, like, you know, I don't think maybe he did step out in front of him.
There was a fair old scalp now.
It was a fair old scalp, especially when you're booked already. You know, you have to be a little bit more careful.
I think that's the point. You need to be more careful when you've been booked.
That was the point about that. It was definitely a yellow card offence.
Yeah.
Now, he had got one yellow card. The surprising thing was that he didn't give him another yellow card maybe, and then sent him off.
Yes.
But he had to. I mean, they can't quibble with that sending off. The other one, you have to question. The thing you've always to ask yourself is, was there an intent here to cause damage to the other player?
Sure.
There is no intent. It's just digging that you have in wet conditions like this, in the excitement of the game. Nobody was going to get injured from that.
In fact, it was the linesman who pointed out this particular.
That's what I was saying. It was the linesman actually that pointed out the incident, and maybe because of that, Pádraig Horan didn't probably see the start of the thing and didn't see completely.
We don't actually know what the linesman said to him.
Sure.
Exactly.
He's dependent. The linesman said they were striking each other off the ball.
Yeah.
You know, if he hears that, what does that mean? You know, but I'd say I know Pádraig Horan. If he saw that, he knows what goes on in hurling. He's a hurling man all his life. He wasn't going to send two lads off for that. The same thing. The other linesman on the other end of the field missed a blatant shoulder charge from Eamon Corcoran. I don't want to be going back. And I was on about it at half time. It was only a booking out. It wasn't a sending off, but it was a very late tackle, a hard tackle. It was a yellow card. The linesman never opened his mouth. Like, the inconsistency of that is what's wrong with the game, you know. And the same thing, you know, the umpires didn't call it back, and he just went along and, you know, eventually gave a free, but never called him back. And you know, and he did play the advantage. He saw the incident, but so that's, you know, you just feel sorry. 14 against 15, as I said, is one thing, but 14 against 13. You've no chance. And Tipperary just left Paul Arman back in front, just hanging around in the back lane. He picked up every ball that went in. And at one stage, I thought Wexford weren't going to score in the second half.
Sure, yeah.
But they got 2 points.
Well, they did only get the 2 points.
They got one at the very end, and they got one maybe 20 minutes in.
All right, gentlemen, we have a commercial break to take. We must get that one out of the way. We're back after that. We have gloom, and the darkness begins to descend on this part of Dublin. Look at the stats from today's game. 3-12 to 10 points was the final score. We had 17 frees to Tipperary and 13 to Wexford. Not too much in it there at the end. 9 wides to Tipperary, 6 to Wexford. Just the 165 in the game. 7 yellow cards issued, and of course those 3 red cards that we talked about happening in the first half. John Carroll's goal, Gerlachnan, at the beginning of the match, I think it was the first score of the match in actual fact, was just the tonic that Tip needed to kind of get them off on the right footing.
Well, there was no score in the game, I think, for about 8 or 9 minutes.
That's
right. But that didn't say the hurling was bad. The hurling was absolutely excellent. And then this ball, so the ball actually from Paul Kelly at wing back into John Carroll. Now, that's the best way for John Carroll, straight through the centre. That's why he's there. He gives Tip the physical presence in the forwards that they didn't have in the Munster Championship. Now, a great ball in here from O'Mara, straight into Carroll. Now, David O'Connor is close by him. Another fellow come across him. He can't strike it with the hurley, and he just kicks it. It goes into the net. But Carroll has made an awful difference since he has. They tried John Carroll in the league at centre forward, and they seemed to abandon the idea that he was going to make a centre forward.
Yeah.
Then he played really poorly in the Munster final at wing back, and they tried him here at centre forward the last day. He played very well in the first half. Now, he improved again today. He had a more consistent game today at centre forward, and you know, he has 3 weeks now till the All-Ireland, and if he gets more and more used to that centre forward position, he gives them a balance there that they didn't have before in the forwards. And when you consider that Brian O'Mara will be missing the All-Ireland, Mark O'Leary was taken off today. Right. So, you know, some steadying influence in the half-forward line, somebody to win that ball was absolutely vital for them, and he might just be the man.
With Brian O'Mara's unavailability now for